Energy again. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this series. Thank you for answering the calling. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for your life. Um, this is when I'm feeling right now to just share with you that you are here, that you've been listening to this series because you are ready. Like you already know that you're totally here to serve and embodying and doing yourself. You're ready to not listen to those outside influences. You're ready to listen to your internal voice. You're ready to step into whatever calling is calling you. And beside me here are my dear friends, my soul sister and brother, Michael A, B, A and B. And so I've known Honey since 2010, 2011. And I've watched her, so I'm going to talk about how I see Honey embodying herself first. I've watched her go from having a very thriving, beautiful, like beauty, skincare, embodiment, natural living, family, DC, politics, I mean the whole thing, to literally following her heart, following her soul, following like the complete dying of what was and the complete rebirthing of what is into huge planetary alignment work, huge alchemy work. She stepped into storylines in the galactic we were talking about a couple days ago, so fully, and then allowed herself to drop it. Like each time she took on this is who I am, she went through it and then dropped it, and through it and then dropped it. And it has been a beautiful dance to witness, to watch you embody you. Wow. So that is Honey.
Beautiful.
Michael.
Watching.
Michael, I met through Honey. Their story is amazing in itself. And really this beautiful man came into my home. Really, when I met him, they came up here 3 years ago. I think it's been 3 years now.
August.
Almost 3 years in August. And came into my home. We did beautiful alignment and work, and just the embodiment and the ability to watch him alchemize as well. I've watched Honey push him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And call him to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. And I really met you, I believe, at the beginning of that journey.
Yeah, because Archangel Michael had just come in on that.
Just come. You just
came right to you to do the Galactic Shamanic Sound Healing for your group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like I've watched you from afar, just say, okay, yes. And that falling up, like falling away of what was and stepping into what is, and the falling away of what was and stepping into what is. And there's this beautiful dance that you guys do so authentically and organically of honoring that alignment of within. And it's so brilliant that it came up today. And I had a feeling that it would. And I was like, that's okay. And I was just on the phone with my friend Eugenia. And I said, well, I might have to come and hold this energy, but that's okay. I could do it. But I really hope that they come and hold the energy, because God wanted them to come and hold the energy. I can't do them as well as they can do them, right? Or at all. So I'm like, but I have, this is a flow series. So with that, I want to welcome you and really trust that this will be exactly perfectly as it is on this day, as we are.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor and a gift to see you again. I feel like we're right with you in Alaska, for like just the energy and the presence of your just your rawness and realness and your emotion, and just the energy that you exude. It invites us right back into your beautiful home, which we were just so grateful to go up and really have our first Alaskan experience in its fullest effect, from helicopters to,
Yeah.
you know,
Magical.
to, you know, glaciers. Like you really opened the door in our most, you know, thankful way. So I'm very grateful. We're very grateful to be here on this 1st of April. It's such this auspicious time. So thank you, dear.
It really is.
I think, Lisha, it's been amazing to also be a witness of your unfolding and developing and expansion and ascension as we all vibrate together. And I remember, gosh, I remember so many years ago when I was in my other home, and we were on Skype together, and I learned that you were a singer. And I was like, go get your guitar, please sing to me, like sing, let me hear this. And I remember that moment. It was such a bonding moment between you and I. And of course, you having girls, and I had dedicated an entire product line that was all eco-conscious, all toxic free, everything dedicated. One part of it was also to bring this education and awareness to the girls, how they're embodying these higher frequency and not these toxins, not to go into their body, for them to embrace their inner goddess and embrace the planet Earth as a goddess, and all those teachings. And literally, as you know, I have had an actual death and rebirth, not just a metaphorically, between this time and space that you and I have known each other on January 8, 2012. So it's been a huge part of, there's still parts of me in there, because when I opened my center in 2006, it was dedicated to everything that I had for 5 years, everything that I learned, which is ties to the affairs now with the birth of my son and how sick he was when he was first born. And that first week, how awful it was, what I learned, and everything that these doctors wanted to do to me on, and that awakening in which I turned back to source, to divine, and I was like, you did this, you need to give me the answer. And that was my opening the doors of discovering really the deep state in our United States, and the devastations when I opened up Pandora boxes, started 2000 with Zygote and like the Illuminati and the pedophiliac ring.
I knew it. I knew we were going to go here. I thought it was yesterday.
Right? And here we are. We've been part of this, battlefield of our life, bringing it. And here I was at that time in Washington, D.C. I had learned so much. I needed the level of anger I felt to be channeled properly, because I wanted to destroy. That's how I felt as a mother. And take everything in the creative energy, create the center, create the product line to bring awareness, education as much as I could, but underneath it, knowing what really truly dark force is running the show that most people are just so clueless about. So, and I did get burnout, because I the amount with the tribe still doing it, it was just never enough, especially the density of Washington, D.C. Yet, after I died, because what I was able to experience in 2008, January 2012, when I was able to leave this physical temple and go to spirit side and experience life after death, meet the Arcturian elders, meet the council, learn about my purpose on earth, my soul agreement, why I'm everything, just everything, and my whole DNA updated, higher abilities, everything, and especially meeting Master Beloved Yeshua, the Christ, to then be sent back with a whole different power tool so that I can serve boldly without holding back. And that was also part of the experience with the vision that they had shown me, this being will come into my life. So together we can serve. And it is the divine alchemy, bringing the alchemized state of the realized conscious being in this form and to live from, to serve from. And the whole purpose of it is just pure service for humanity,
Mhm.
nothing else. That's pretty much it. So, what we experience together as a union, in our sacred divine union, there's our individual responsibility and our responsibility to our flame, which divine has given us, so that we can serve from the planetary and the personal and the planetary ascension, delivering the golden age. And that's where we're very clear where we stand. And but yet it took a little while for us to be fully adjusted.
Mhm. And I think that adjustment is also something inside. And yesterday we talked about the messiness of it all in this series, and how communicating with your divine self, that internal, this is my alignment self, doesn't always look, I mean, for me, it's like rarely looks the way that I would like have planned it out myself, like this, like everything's easy peasy, right? There is a darkness, there is a deep state, there is everything that's happening on the planet is happening within. And so when we can go through it and let things fall away and realign and let things fall away without, even with attachment, but recognizing that attachment and letting that attachment go, not non-judgment, right? I know that you've both been, I know when you do, well, let's just take today, Michael, let's just take today. Right? You process some of the dark stuff that's happening, right? And 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 we do that on multiple levels. So today you weren't feeling so well. Can I out that?
Yeah, please.
And I think all of us have been through times where it's been kind of challenging for us to let that go, where we've had to go to sleep for a while, or cancel all of our appointments, or not do what normally looks good.
Yeah, and
in order to choose this alignment.
And it's been interesting. Honey said a really good point today that resonated with me in this expansion and contraction, expansion, contraction, and what we experienced last night and expanding so
But
deeply.
let's say what was last night, so that way those that don't know.
Yeah, for last.
Can you guys turn up your mic a little bit?
Yeah, it's totally up.
It's totally
Is it
up.
totally up?
Yeah, we have a big microphone system here too.
There we go.
Yeah.
How's it sounding right now? Is it?
It's a little better when you lean forward like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Maybe just maybe lift it up a little bit. I want to hear you really clearly. Yes.
So last night.
Much better. Yeah.
It was interesting. Last night we had a very powerful global divine meditation for Gaia. We have every Tuesday night a silent meditation. We had 65 individuals on, and we just felt such a deep love in what came through. And it's interesting when you can be in that space, feel it, opens you up, you feel the love, the tears come through, and we're just in a state of bliss.
And it's a silent meditation, 30 minutes. And yesterday we knew it was really important, and we have it every single week. And that's to just gather people and for us to just hold the highest vision of love for Gaia and humanity. That's really what it is. But we prepare our temple first before we can allow our temple to be utilized. So when we enter this place, but when we have a group gathering like that, but that many participants that are even up to 1,000 people, but only 65 people decided to show up, but they really showed up. And when they show up with that field of light and we all unify as one and connect to it, we expand so wide because the creator's love is able to vibrate through all of us. We all lift in an octave of light together, and then through that it goes out. And so what happens next, we're expanding, right, in our rays of light. So the next step, we got to ground. It comes into ground into our physical temple, and there seems to be almost like, it's almost like as if closing, caving in, but that's not what's happening, because it's the integration. But because of that much light, there's also a lot of debris that surfaces. So when Michael woke up this morning,
and so when I woke up this morning, it was really interesting just to feel the heaviness and just the contraction within me, because we got really good nights of sleep. My dreams were off the wall and a little dark, which was interesting after such a powerful event, that this morning it was really challenging to kind of be like, wow, I've been in a state this past month of just high vibration, joyful, happy, remaining above it all. And especially in this area, which I'm sure you felt when you were visiting, it's so dense in the Washington metro. And we're lucky because we're outside of it with beautiful crystal fields and nature, but we feel the energy very easily here of the grid lines. So today it was like
well, you can feel the fields.
We can feel the fields today, and you know, being April, and just I think part of it is just there's just so much anticipation of what's happening. For us there's a lot of excitement for it, and so sometimes we're ready, and I feel like I'm ready to jump out and okay, let's go. And what can I do? I'll go pick up some trash. I'll go out and do some things in the community, but there's just this energy moving, and it was so weird being last night of just this heavenly awe, and then this morning to wake up and just feel so lethargic, tired, but honor that. I think that's the most important. As we were talking, what things come and fall, but to honor that, because that too shall pass. And sometimes when all that light is shining, it's also going to shine on the debris within us that are here to wash away. So no better of a chance where, you know, I was telling Honey, actually Honey was like, let's go outside, because
that's why I was like, that's why we messaged. I was like, you know, he's just not aligned, and we like to be in our full alignment to also to serve, because when there's the energetic gathering of so-called like this network of light coming, it's very important we are in that place. We fortunately do our, as you know, we're very dedicated to our morning practice very deeply. So that assess. I said to Michael, I was like, Michael, let's just go out. Let's go to nature. That's your medicine. And I feel this is very important. You wake up in the morning, you're not feeling right. You're feeling off. To not judge it that something is wrong with you. That something is reintegrating with you. And there is things that are surface because there's so much more light expanded in you. Now you can also handle these that you weren't able to handle before. So finally here, you can also blast these with love, but go take care of yourself first. Your number one responsibility in this now is to you. So that's why we message you. It's like, let's go take care of this first before we can be available to anybody else. And nothing like Mother Nature does it.
No, she's amazing.
These beautiful red cardinals, blue jays, woodpeckers, this egret or crane. We don't know what it was, but it's like, it's amazing when you get out, and as you know, you're in wonderland. I mean, we're in like the suburbs, but you're in the mecca of like God's country. That it does see when you're out there, and it's like, oh, just breathe in the river, breathe in the sounds of nature. Just take this moment of just like, okay, this is my reality. This is what's happening now, versus waking up and just, you know.
But it was good. You didn't judge it today. You didn't act from the place that you felt off, and you went back to nature and you felt, okay, now I feel more aligned. And it's okay that I'm a little tired. Even I'm going to come on. That it's okay. It's not that I am of less of service, that I've lost connection from spirit. None of that. I feel that's all of those judgments that we as the spiritual beings, as light workers, star seeds, we have got to put an end to any of these judgments. The day you wake up, you feel off, it's not that something is wrong with you. That just means it's information available to you that you can now is achievable to have a direct inner communication with you.
Yeah. So everybody listening, if you've listened to the rest of the series, like I hope that you, like me, are going, because it's a continuation of the conversation yesterday. It's a continuation of everything that's happening. Now, Honey is teaching, Michael is teaching on how to handle this messiness, right? through acceptance, through non-judgment, through putting together your formula. And Michael's is nature. I think many of ours is nature. Gaia is really powerful. She's the bomb. So yeah, like, yay. Where do you want to go next?
And I want to address this also, Lisha, for another thing. This, I mean, we can't deny what is here right now. We're very excited for those of us who are vibrating at a consciousness that can clearly see what is dismantling before us. But we're also being very sensitive being. We're also experiencing the suffering within the field of the unawoken ones that are now being forced to awaken. The rug is pulled under them. They have no idea what side is up and down. All the things that they've been attached to, from the sports to the music to the events, is like ripped from them. They have to be quarantined. And we as human beings have been quarantined on Earth for eons, from the Anunnakis. I don't even want to go there. So to me, it's like, finally, the reason why, like yesterday, I posted so much blasting it from this great joy of this great awakening. And it's here because finally we get to be collectively out of the quarantine that has handled this sort of that invisible prison for eons around Gaia. And it's so exciting. Yet we can see this clearly. We are the very, very minority, maybe 5-10%, but we also carry the extreme power in this now. So it's very important to know where we're positioned, what your calling in your position is. And also, while the collective is going through the dismantling of all systems crumbling, we stay here, but we don't get pulled into there. We stay right here and very clear. And one of my biggest posts yesterday was like, follow nothing and no one, only the deepest truth of your heart, because the divine light, the divine love, the grace of Almighty is truly speaking to all of us in this sort of like contained space that we are in. And there's no time greater than this now, where as you come to that place, I come to that place, Michael comes to that place, even we feel a little off, we're picking up the energy from the outside, we come right back in and we plug back to this sort of like golden cable, and we stay right there, and praying hero, absolutely no praying hero, no sacrifice, no compromise, none of that. Straight truth alignments and staying there in this. That's why I really feel.
Yeah, the time of martyrism and the time of self-sacrifice, I really felt a shift in 2012. I mean, it was done. Like from my place, and without sounding any part of important, this has been my job for a very long time, to embody martyrism and end it. And there's like, it was done. And it's about this process of relearning, right? And then ending the slavery around that, whether it's internal slavery or religious slavery or the sex slave trade, which is another thing that's really powerful on my heart in this lifetime, and others. And like earth slavery, mama slavery, right? And all that's attached to that is being asked to be surrendered, to be forgiven, to be not judged, to be re-identified through love, I think.
Really resurrected, as like last
resurrected is a beautiful word. Yeah.
And I'm going to share this, and Michael, you take over, because there's a point Lisha said, like last night. So there was a lot of information going on, especially between Q and QAnon and all of that, what's taking place. Again, I follow my own instincts, and there's certain things that just doesn't resonate with me, because I know, working so closely with Galactic Federation of Light and Intergalactic Council, I know that frequency that's very, very loving. It is harm whatsoever. And last night in our group meditation, the experience that I had, Lisha, was so incredible. Even these ones that have done so much harm, so much. For 20 years ago, the level I was just in pure hate, wanting to destroy them. But like last night, the timeline that I saw was so many of us forgiving them, the horrible crimes they've done against humanity. But instead of them being taken down, being put to death, and all of this, or suicides, we as a collective forgave them, and they were resurrected in being able to contribute back to the new earth, the true golden age. And I feel that's the timeline that's also here, that people like you, people like us, we know that, and that's our reality that we want to bring forward, you know?
And what you said, I feel is so important about 2020 is that we know that this year it's a pure reflection of yourself and the relationship of yourself. The 2020, how important everything is going to be expressed. Everything is going to show up. There's nothing that you can't hide anymore. Like whatever has been hiding, whatever debris, whatever shit has been placed down is now being expressed to its highest level. And it's no accident that as everything is coming up right now, outwardly, inwardly, it is all being brought up to the surface. And for us, we're so excited for it because
we're kind of used to it. We're like, yay, look at this.
And there's a portion of it that we're like, wow, like finally, we've been waiting. It only took us to get to our 40s to finally realize, my goodness, we've been going through this like process of watching it, watching it come up. And it's so amazing to see what's happening, not only collective, but what's happening inside of us as we're going through it, because there's a lot of emotions that are coming up. There's a lot of energies, even people's reactions. And I find one of the most important things that personally I'm learning out of all of this, it's really bringing the highest level of trust within ourselves, to really take that energy and go within ourselves. And I said this in a video of, without trusting anything on the outside, to go within our most powerful place, our heart, and trust what is being led in our love, in our divine connection, so that we can fully realize and become aware of what's happening. And I find so many have trusted, and we've been programmed to validate, to look for, opinions on the outside just to see where we are, just to be like, okay, am I all right? Am I good? Even like when we look at a lot of us light workers of how out there we're looking outward versus inward. And so what's so beautiful about this quarantine is it's giving us the opportunity to be within ourselves, to trust and to feel that within, and really allow what comes forth so that broadcast can be felt inward and not outward. I feel that is the journey right now, is going in through the heart and feeling the beautiful alchemy of what's unfolding, because there's so much happening. And it's almost like a perfect storyline in the movie, because here we are, we have Armageddon on the outside and everything's just like falling apart, and it's just like, the worst, movie coming alive. But on the inside, it's like, but this is your great awakening. This is your great awakening. So you just turn the channel off on that side, turn it onto the Alaska Nature Channel, go into your heart and feel what's coming through. And to us, we feel like there's just this infinite energy that's just been pouring day in, day night. And that's why I find alignment and grounding is the most important thing to do, so that we're feeling our trust from a rooted level, not from a space where we're living in fear, but living in love. And that's our divine awakening, moving into the 5D and beyond, allowing ourselves to feel the love, be the love, act from love, truly embrace the embodiment of love, because that is what we are. And now we're getting the greatest chance to do it in the highest grade of fear that's happening upon. So it's like this game of saying, are you going to go into fear, or are you going to go into love? What is your choice? And I think that's the gift, the free will that we have to choose. No one's forcing us. I mean, it's looking pretty bad on the outside, but in the inside, there's that free will. You can choose.
Yeah. So So one thing that you just said that I think is coming up a lot. Well, again, the stream through all these is this trust. And I know that there's a subconscious training I've been talking a lot about, that of how love appeared, the unhealthy love, and the way that it appeared in family and blah, 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 right? We're told that this is love, but it didn't feel like love. It didn't look like love, right? So, but there's this battle because that's how love appeared. So when we were programmed, it looked like that. So to trust love, even for many that are just awakening, can be very confusing and scary, right? So how would you share to go into that? I know I've heard about your beautiful family, Michael. I would love to have been raised by your family.
Seriously, between you and I would seriously, like, really, like.
Oh, I'm in love with your family. So I don't know if you're the best person to ask. Honey, I might switch this to you. And even then, you have a really great family too. Actually, I'm in love with yours. But no, but you did have the war zone experience. So, but there's this, I don't really know where Spirit's guiding me here. All I'm feeling, and it's now moved down into sternum, is there's this awakening into trust, and a trust of love that many people around me, I believe anyway, because I keep having this conversation, so I'm going to trust it, keep having. And for me, deepening my level of trust in the last year, like 365 days, has been my entire thing. Like massive healing of trusting myself. And then we're trained to look for that validation from everything, right? If you make a bunch of money, or you have a bazillion followers, or somebody tells you that they love you, or somebody tells you that you're good enough, or your daddy loves you, or your mommy loves you, then you're validated, right? What would you say to those people who maybe haven't gotten that validation, have been striving for that validation, have been very off course because they didn't get that validation, that are feeling that call to trust themselves?
It's an excellent question. And when you said that, there was one word that was booming out of my heart. You know what that was, Alicia?
What?
Innocence. The return back to innocence, because
that was yesterday's talk.
Where I've always had this playful, childlike, carefree, magical way of living life, where, call it cuckoo, call it weird, call it like I'm caught in this little bubble of like, oh, let's go fly with the angels, let's talk to the fairies, just living in a way where I would tell people, if they can bring themselves back to their inner child, and even if they have inner child wounds, even if they have pain, but to look at a child, to feel what a baby's eyes do to you when you look deeply into their eyes, and their baby eyes are like looking at you like, I trust you, I love you, I don't know who you are, but I
and it doesn't matter.
Because that divinity of innocence,
yeah,
I truly believe is within all of us. And maybe I grew up boy in the bubble because I did have the hippie new age spiritual family that brought up that trust, but it's like,
and that they talked about the Great Awakening 40 some years ago. Michael's heard about the Great Awakening from when he was like 2.
I shared a beautiful video with my dad. It was like in the 80s, because when they were in the 60s, they thought the Great Awakening was going to happen, and he kept speaking during the harmonic convergence, the 90s, Nostradamus's great prophecies, 1999, 2000, 2010, 2012, everything was going to awaken. So I've been hearing this story. Back to the innocence and trust, I find when we can really just listen to that inner child playfulness and really watch a child feel what a child does and see how they go through a day trusting every aspect. And I find that what's so beautiful about innocence is it brings back purity. It gives us the integral level of what we know, what we were brought in here for. We were already masters. We were already gods and goddesses coming into this. And now it's that return of innocence, return back to the heart in our trust, and really exude it by nothing else other than embodying it. And it may sound hard for those that are like, okay, it sounds so easy. But then I start to look at it maybe a biological sense. Okay, well, our eyes blink without us thinking it. So we trust that our eyes blink. Our internal autonomic nervous system already trusts. We already trust that it's happening already. So where is it that we're not trusting? Is it the mental body or emotional body that hasn't quite aligned with our inner essence of our source? Because life lives through you. You don't live life. So if we just allow and surrender to life and just trust that the sky is blue, the grass is green, I flush the toilet, the water goes down. I trust if I hit the light switch up, the light goes up. We already have a natural energy of trust.
Yeah.
It's going into ourselves and trusting who we are, because somewhere along our journey, we place more energy outwardly in how people would view us versus how we viewed ourselves. So we were actually looking through validation of trust versus looking within our own self and just trusting that we got this. We have angels, we have masters, we have guides. We're constantly surrounded by them. And if we just connect into the divinity of our heart through the innocence of our purity and our divine connection, then we just start allowing this conduit of light to be the fullness of expression that we already are.
Yeah. And play. I know you guys play really well.
Yeah,
Play is definitely part of my formula. My daughter heard you guys talking about innocence and play, and she came upstairs. She's like, "Can we dye my hair now?" I'm like, "In a minute."
Which one, the younger one or older one?
The older one. I did the younger one's hair last night. The older one missed her opportunity between interviews today, and she decided she didn't want to. They were mad at me for asking him to clean. Being mom. So she's like, "I'm not gonna do it." Now she's like, "Can we do it now?" Anyway, I thought that was funny. So like a great question for everybody listening is like, how do you like to play? I think play is one of the easiest ways that we can really step back into that. It was for me. And just a story, because it's coming through. I was in France, and there was this process of playing. We're supposed to go out and play, right? A whole bunch of adults go out and go to the park and go play. And while I was walking out there, I was thinking, I really don't remember how to play. Like, I don't know if I did get to play growing up much. I remember kind of playing with my friends and stuff. So I thought about like Tiffany Heinley and like playing and like jumping on the tramp in her backyard and stuff, and like try to tap into it. And then I decided, you know what? Like, I can just create it, right? So I started playing, and I went full out, because that's how I roll. I went full out. I'm like playing. We get back inside, right? And we're all like debriefing in this beautiful goddess group. And they were like, "Oh, you are the player. Like, you embody it completely. Oh, you playing helped us play, blah, blah," right? And I walked out there thinking, I have no idea how to do it. So I just want to debunk. If you had like a childhood where you were not allowed to play or whatever the story is, like, do it now. Just create it. experience it, learn it. I joined you guys the other day for your
Yes.
aesthetic dance.
Yeah.
And I had such a great time playing with you all.
And that was a very conscious prayer dance. You know?
Yes, it was, but it still was very fun.
I mean, it's fantastic.
And you know what's
Yeah.
so funny about play? The other day we're driving in the car, and Honey's like, "Look at those green grasses." And I don't know if you know, Honey's been how many farm animals in her past life, but won't you just want to
I
roll
was like,
down
Michael,
them?
come here. Don't you want to go roll with me? Let's roll down the grass together. That's what Michael's like. Because I mean, there's so much I bring up in a day in play. We have so much of
And I
that.
remember that when I was little, we
Yeah.
used to like pick
Go-
a hill and we'd roll all the way
Roll
down.
down.
And you know, as adults, everyone needs some type of something to numb them. But I was like, I just remember rolling down and just the high of life, getting up dizzy and just
Getting all
connecting
dizzy and throwing up.
and realizing that like there was this joy of just the art of play.
Yeah.
And in that playdom, I feel like that's our connection to our laughter, our innocence, and just our ability to really trust what I find is the most important aspect is bring ourselves into that present moment, because the one thing that you notice about children is they're trusting every moment from one moment to the next, even if they're climbing up the tree, where most of us adults are like, well, I don't know if I can get to that top branch. These little kids are running all the way up, or they're doing things that most adults would say, are you kidding? They're taking every moment and allowing that energy to sprout out of it, as if like there is no past, there's no future, because they're constantly allowing and surrendering what's before them with the highest level of curiosity, creativity, and imagination that I feel most of us, I mean, I tell this all the time, is let's take adults and create a play day so they can just remember to let go of this seriousness, which is important at times. Trust me, seriousness is important, but
All has its purpose.
let's play and bring back that jovial part of ourselves that we can really touch deep aspects. Because when we really start to laugh, and Honey and I, we'll do this during breakfast, or we'll do this, we'll just start talking about the strangest, weirdest things. I know you know Honey longer than I, but these topics go so deep that we're like,
You know her better.
it's
Or like, for example, it's so funny. So 2 days ago, we got the Maryland mayor sending the announcement on the telephone that, okay, from 8 p.m., you know, things go lockdown, whatever.
only travel for
Only
essential.
travel, and so right away, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, well, meanwhile, people are running for toilet paper, all of that. I'm like, my art supply. I gotta go get my art supply. So I call Michael's, and all the Michael's in Maryland were shut down already. I was like,
It's an art store, by the way.
art store. So then I saw across the border in Virginia, Michael was open till 7. So this is like 5:30 p.m. I'm like, Michael, I was like, Michael, I gotta go. So it's like an hour drive just to get to the art store. Just because let me show you for a second so you'll see. So this is part of. So this is my attention to higher dimensional.
Yeah.
Tone, my ADD. Like I have to have art all over the place because I do it and then I clean it all up because I need the art. That play is so important, and whatever it is. So I rush, Lisha, to go get like a criminal on the road to cross the border just to get my art supply, just to come back to have enough art to play with, because that's one part of me, the inner child in me, that's so important that I promised. This was years ago when I woke up to her, how I had kept her in a closet for so long. And she was just like, really, I had kept her in prison because I took on the responsibility of the adult. And I've been an adult from very, very early on as a child. And so then I just put her in the closet. And years later, I woken up to what a crime I had done to my inner child, just ignored her and just locked her up. And I made promise to feed her, nourish her, and play with her, the things she likes. So Michael knows, like, like nighttime when we go to bed, like one of the things that brings me a lot of joy is he has to, like, I have him like pet me, and I tell him to tell me all about their fluffy animals.
She wants to hear every fluffy animal. Fluffy
Like, this
sheep.
is like I have to then see them, and I'm with them. So this is part of my little play inner me. So before going to bed, so it's like all kinds of ways where this play has to happen, you know. And it is the innocence that's so important, because that's what's connected to Holy Spirit. That's what's connected to the complete clarity of what we are able to bring in the reflection of the divine,
and connects us directly back to
source
trust.
light and
To source
trust.
light, to trust, because once we trust that we're safe, once we trust we're secure. I mean, I feel a lot of people,
they want the artificial safety,
they want the artificial,
right, on the outside.
yeah. But if we look at the root of really what trust is all about, we just go deep to the root without even going through the story. Trust is really letting go and accepting, because part of that is somewhere we haven't felt safe due to a trauma. And because we haven't felt safe in that trauma, we have to control what's before us, because if we don't control it, we are afraid that something's going to happen. So we're in constant over controlling so that we can create our trust. Yet maybe if we just start letting go and surrendering, not giving our power away, but just surrendering and accepting to what comes forward, there becomes an automatic trust. So part of that is clearing up all those second chakra, like safety areas, going back and thanking, being grateful for all of those areas that we signed up for, that we had to go through our forgiveness, through our compassion, through our gratitude, and to clear those areas so that can make room so that we can open the door to trust and allow. Because I know a lot of people, when they talk to me, like, oh, you grew up in this perfect childhood and everything was peachy keen. And sometimes I get upset because I still had hard times. I mean, I was the black sheep around all the white sheep. So I was rejected and abandoned, and no one understood who I was, because as soon as I started talking about spirituality, I was thrown back into the closet of like, oh, I can't say that. So I feel that safety underneath, the feeling secure, opens up our ability to trust, because then we're not so afraid that something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because as you were beginning your story, I was like, wow, just moved, because it's like, well, what a better person that actually got to grow up and really nurture that playful, trusting aspect of yourself. Like, you embody it. It's a natural part of your personality. You didn't have to as much. You just express that you still have your things, which is human and beautiful and lovely, right? But you got to nurture that. So being able to embody that allows those of us who maybe didn't get that opportunity to see and feel, that are sensitive, I guess, to see and feel and witness what that feels like, embodiment of another person, so we can kind of look for that resonance within ourselves and ask ourselves, like, what? And honey, as you were talking and sharing about your artwork, there was just this opening here and this opening here, and you know what's coming. And I was just like, oh, that's singing. Yeah, that's why I have my guitar leaning against my bed right now. Like, my little girl just wants to sing, sing, sing. And she hadn't been put in this box, and I don't know what it looked like. And I actually just broke free from that box. I quit my band. I was led to quit, right? And now I'm like, but I need my music when I just made this page, right? Delicious. Like, what do I do? But that is my inner child, like full-fledged, like playing. It's singing and music and dance and movement and flailing and fun, right? So however that is expressed for you listening, tap into that. Utilize this time of quarantine to get in touch with your playful nature, to reawaken your playful nature, to, I didn't look for TP either. I'm just trusting that there's going to be enough. And my mom told me we could shuck corn and use, that's what we did when my hippie mom was a kid. Anyway, literally like we did New Harmony, Indiana.
I wanted to share something with you, Lisha. I feel this is also important for the listeners. Two things, by the way. I can't wait for you to have Danielle Tabitha on, because she's also a singer musician. You two will have a field that hopefully you both will have, you know, singing.
Fun. I can't wait.
Amazing. But on the other side, it was so interesting. On one of my Instagram posts, I had shared this excitement and the joy, and I had this one on all these other ones that are like, yeah, all of this, the dismantling and all of this. And I had one person that said, it's like, how can you be so joyful when so many people are dying? I don't understand this. How can you actually lit yourself? How shameful. So it was like a lot of shit having me feel shame. And I want to really bring this out and get. And I was like, well, and not even for a second, but I know that shoe very well because I've also been there. So so much love. I responded back to this person without deleting it. I said, you are offering different timelines. In the timeline, I'm able to really feel the excitement, and I can also see these individuals who are crossing over are part of this, just as I saw them last night. It is all part of the divine plan. So I can't go into the suffering because I can only experience the celebration of it. And when I am in this celebration and in this joy, I can help so many more other people. As like, and this gift is available to you in this now. You can see in your suffering and stress and worry and anxiety, see how many people you assist, or come in this place, invite it in within yourself, and you see how much you're held, and you can help so many other people in this way. And by me being in my celebration does not take away from anybody else that is suffering. That this is a program that we're also deleting. I am not taking away someone's right because I'm in the timeline that is able to experience the multi-dimensional nature of all the soul monad coming together in the oneness, to recognize the oneness energy that's pulling in. So you bet I'm going to be celebrating. To me, this is the event. Of course, I'm going to celebrate it. And I have compassion, but this is not empathy, all of that. I have deep compassion with taking place and the courageous souls that have taken part to take part exactly in this, especially this elderly that are crossing over to take part in all of this. So I feel this is very important to know again where your position, where you are, and anchoring this. And in no way, if somebody even from their perspective seeing you and want to shame you or judge you, you can only be shamed and judged if you're not standing your truth. In no way I took offense to this person. And the person, you know what he did? He responded back to me. He's like, thank you so much for giving me a perspective that I never considered. Like this also simultaneously exists.
It's the alchemy.
Yeah.
So give them a possible, well, and sometimes it's a choice. I remember years ago, Lisha, I remember I was so, the whole burden of life was on my shoulder. I was wanting to open my center. I had so much that I wanted to teach humanity about all that I learned. And there's just so much moving through me. But the program that was running under me was anger. And anger, you can either distribute it or create. Of course, I was creating, but the anger was the running program. And I remember so clearly, I went, this beautiful friend of mine, and he looked at me with this, gosh, this Christed heart. And he looked at me and he said, honey, he's like, what's really wrong? And I was like, I have to take care of this. I gotta take care of this. I gotta say, what about my children? What about like, I was in this place.
I remember that place.
Oh yeah.
I ran that one really well.
And Lisha, he looked at me, just this illumination, not coming to where I was. He's right there, but this love out of him. He said, honey, why don't you invite divine into these responsibilities. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know that was an option at that moment because I was so trying to take care of it like a warrior woman all by myself and like Wonder Woman, I can do this shit, you know, and I'm multi talented, multi everything I can do. Yeah, I can do it, but I was suffering from all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
happened? It was so beautiful because it gave me this like thing. He's like, honey, here's a pepper, here's a salt. They're always together. Like, where are you focused? Are you focused on the problem or the solution? And Lisha, like this, it kicked in.
Switched.
I came in the car. I took out a sheet of paper very quickly. I started writing. I was like, Divine, you know what? I'm going to include you in everything here. I want you to take care of my children. I want you to take care of this. I want to take. I've been on a donation sea of my responsibilities. I got lighter and lighter and lighter because I was focused on the frustration and the suffering. Nobody had told me this also exists. I can go through the same problem with joy and celebration. That's also an option. So
Yeah.
this is also an option for all of us. You're in home. You can sit there, worry, anxiety, stress yourself, and you will bring every kind of virus, not just this one, into you and all the illness. Or here, you can put on music, create art, dance, have fun, enjoy. You also go through it. This option also exists. It's just a matter of choice.
Beautiful. And I think I have a few more things that I can add to my list that Divine can be in charge of right now. I'm gonna go redo that. I haven't revisited. I did it this morning. I do it moment to moment actually, but like I have a few more like big ticket items that I could just hand over, right? Just level the playing field right now. Yeah. Well, I know that we are gonna cut this short.
Thank you.
And so we only have 3 minutes left in order to do that.
That's beautiful.
It didn't work out. I'm sorry. You kept talking and I kept letting you. But you've mentioned a couple things that I think would really be beautiful to share. And so one of them has been your Tuesday night gatherings.
Yeah.
And how can people join you? And then you have a whole bunch of other stuff. So whatever you guys want to share, I would love for people to be able to participate, to get a hold of you, all of that as we end. And yeah.
Tuesday night, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on our YouTube channel at Ascension Alchemist. We hold this incredible space. It is in silence, but we start at 7:45 p.m. and we build this energy up, and then we do that. It's magical. Everybody's invited. It's free. Every other Friday, we have what's called Friday Tea Time Ascension Talk at 12 p.m. Eastern, where Michael and I talk about the recent frequencies, what's been happening, what individually we're going through. You grab tea, it's very relaxed. We sit and talk with our participants. Again, that's also free to help support us, and also the messages from the angels and the ascension energies, and we get to really share. And sometimes there's light transmission come in that I bring forward, whatever that is, and really assisting. So that's every other Friday, which would be next Friday. We also we're going to be on Tabitha's show this coming Friday, which will make the announcement. We just have people, please join us on Ascension Alchemist Facebook page, Instagram Ascension Alchemist, and also my Honi Borden author speaker page on Facebook, because that's where there's a lot is blasted.
And I feel because we really are off the grid, that we use our Ascension Alchemist YouTube page as our greatest level of support. There's going to be more opportunities for us to share, whether it's shamanic journeying events, whether it's our own messages that we come forth in our daily angelic messages. I feel that right now, because we are in a quarantine, we're even going deeper into our service by coming forward and allowing to come into everyone's home through our channels of our YouTube, our Facebook Live. So just what we tell everyone is just come to our pages, see our schedules, see what we're doing. We do a lot of events. We do a lot of our healings. virtually, so
Yeah.
that if anyone is out there, even with the Sacred Divine listening, which I hold a great space for those that are going through so much,
Yeah.
just so they can express to a Sacred Divine Masculine and allow that energy to come forward, that space is held virtually.
That's a 90-minute session, private session that Michael facilitates. A lot of the things we do free. This one is a private session that people can reach to Michael at abramson7@gmail.com. And that's an amazing one. And the other part of it
And it's
is
a love
it's through
blessed
love, blessed gift
donation.
offering.
All
yeah,
of our
offering.
services, which are guided by source, is through our love gift donation, which we have individuals go through PayPal, is a service through the heart, because we know we are following the divine, and we know that is where our path is in our mission. So we feel grateful that we can share that from the compassion, the love, and just the joy that we have so
much.
rooted in our hearts to
serve others.
Yeah.
It's all service. And I'm focused on the private light code transmissions of activating the crystalline diamond light body. I do have a waiting list. And again, but individuals can reach out. There is a short video that I posted yesterday when last year I was on Todd's show, Astrology, and you can experience the light transmission through multiple different languages of light, from extraterrestrial and different realms that I speak. That is all about assisting individual and their geometric patterns be back in their alignment. That private transmission it's not for everybody, but the ones that really feel called, they have to be in the crystalline diamond light body, which is part of this now. Again, you have to be patient, because I'm the only one who's facilitating it, and I can only do one transmission a day. But you can reach out to me at honeybee, HONI, letter B, 1111@gmail.com. We'll see what we can do. But again, best is on our Facebook pages and our YouTube channel, because we share a lot for free through here to just support as much as we can with what we're receiving, and for it to be passed forward. So
Beautiful.
thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this hour of your time, your precious time. Everybody, thank you for being here. We'll see you back tomorrow. We're going through the 10th for sure. I think this is it. I think it is the 10th. We'll see what spirit tells me to do beyond that, but I'm always saying yes, but it's sometimes, a lot of times, most of the time, it's behind the scenes. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Love our beautiful friends on. I'm so excited that collaboration worked out.
Thank you so much for having us.
So much love.
So much love.
So much love. Gosh, you guys, love you. Bye.